Let's consider a question on 3-4. An object is dropped from 144 meters height and it does free-fall motion. Distance it travels and time of motion are given in the picture below. Find the distance between points B and C. So the distance that we want is this one here where the time is t. Now how are we able to work out this one? The first thing that we need to do is to be able to find the value for t. The equation that we are going to use is height is equal to ut plus half gt squared. So I'm going to start with the total height. So the total height given here is 144. So say 144 is equal to, now since from the top the object has just been dropped, meaning that the initial velocity is 0. So that will be 0 times t, it will still be 0 plus half. G is going to be positive 9.8 since it is going in the direction of gravity pulling downwards, and then t squared, right? And then now we know that this t we are talking about, okay, first let's just calculate it. So this is going to give us 144 is equal to half times 9.8, that is going to be 4.9 t squared, and divide both sides by 4.9, so 144 over 4.9. This is going to give us 29.3877551, and that is going to be equal to t squared. So to remain with t, we square root both sides. Therefore, t is going to be positive or negative the square root of 29.38, and that will give us positive or negative 5.42. Now, since this is time, it can't be negative, so we'll just get a positive value. So time is going to be 5.42. So this is the time taken for the object to fall from the very top to the very bottom. That's the total time. Now, when we consider the times that you've been given to cover the motion from just a point A to point B, that is 2t, from point B to point C, that is just t, from point C to point D, that is 3t. So if we get to add this, the total time that we are finding here, 2t plus t, and then plus the 3t. So this is giving us a total time being 6t. So meaning that this 6t, that's the total time we have here, should be equal to the total time taken for motion to happen, right? So we're going to say 6t is equal to 5.42. So to remain with this small t, which is now the time interval between B and C, then t is going to be, let's divide 5.42 divided by 6. So that is going to give us 0.9035. So this is the time, the small time t, which we are able to see. Let me put here one down just to differentiate from this one that we found. Alright. Now again, what I'm going to be able to do is this, so that we can be able to calculate the distance from B to C. So what I'm going to do is, let's find this time from the point A to the point C, and then we also find the time from the point A to the point B. Let me call this as T1, let me call this as T2. Alright, so how do you do that? Since we've already found the value for this small t, and we've seen that from the point A to the point C, it is just 2t plus t, which is the 3t. So that is what we are going to add. So we are talking about motion from here up to there, then from here just up to here. So this is what we are calling as, let me call this as T1, this as T2. Okay, so to be able to find T1, so for this one, let me not even put a 1 because it might seem as if it's the 1. So T1 is going to be equal to what? We are saying that is 2t. So that is just going to be 2 multiplied by t, which we have found as 0.9035. So T1 is going to be equal to, let's do that, multiply by 2, that is going to give us 1.807 seconds. And then let's also calculate T2. Now T2, we are seeing it is 2t plus t, so that is 3t. right? So if we already know t2 that has given us 1.87, we just add t, and the value for t is 0.9035. Or we just get this value, we multiply by 3, because t2 plus t2, or yes, plus t, that is going to give us 3t. So we just get to multiply this value by a3, and then we'll be able to calculate to find that value. So this is going to give us 2.7105 seconds. Okay, now that we have found those two times, we can now work out what we've been asked to find. So let me now remove this. Hope I'll not need it. Okay, so I'm going to find the height that is covered from A to C. And we know that height is given by ut plus half gt squared. And I'm going to call that height as h2, since I'm talking from the point A to the point B, right? So let me just put AB, the height AB, that is going to be, we know that initial velocity is 0. That will be plus half, G is 9.8, and then T from A to B, we have found that is 2.7105. We square that. So what will be AB? That's not AB actually, that is AC I'm talking about. So that is going to be 2.105 squared multiplied by 9.8 multiplied by half. That is going to give us 36 meters. And then now let's find the height from A to B. So we'll also say height is equal to ut plus half gt squared. Now we're talking about A to B. Still the initial velocity is 0, and that is plus half. G is still 9.8. Now the time from A to B, that is what we calculated as t1, which is 1.807. Now get to square that value. 1.807 squared multiplied by 9.8 multiplied by half. So this is going to give us, so AB is giving us 16 meters. Now we can clearly see that BC is simply AC minus AB. So AC we have found that to be 36, AB we have found that to be 16. So just do the subtraction here. That is going to give us 20 meters. So that is the distance that is going to be covered from the point B to the point C.